Paths, Lesson 19, Planning Ahead, a project to improve our school with Miss Love. Objectives. I can promote the idea of service learning, that scholars can help their community as part of their education. I can learn how my study skills can help me set goals for creating positive change. I can learn through a story how to identify a problem, set a goal, and work to reach that goal. So our schedule is going to be a little different for this lesson. We're going to have a story and then we're going to have an exit ticket based on the story. So for this lesson, I'm going to read a story called Food from the Hood, a true story of growth and caring. And it's about some scholars that wanted to make a change in their community. So they put their heads together to figure out how to create a change because they realized that there was a problem that they needed to solve. The Los Angeles riots of 1992 destroyed neighborhoods and businesses along with the hopes and dreams of many people who lived there. Students from one inner city Los Angeles high school helped their neighborhood recover from the riots and helped themselves as well. What started as a project to create a community garden in an abandoned weed-filled lot behind the school's football field has turned into a successful business called Food from the Hood. Students in Tammy Bird's biology class at Crenshaw High School in South Central Los Angeles were asked to create a small garden as a project. They wanted to bring life back to the community while also getting hands-on science experience. The students planted vegetables in the garden. Soon, the once weed-filled plot became filled with plants, lettuce, broccoli, collard greens, and other vegetables. The students gave all of their first harvest to needy families. The next year, they had enough to sell at a local farmer's market. They were so successful that they decided to start a company, which they called Food from the Hood. The students decided that the best way to make a difference in their community was to get an education. They decided to use the money they made from Food from the Hood to create college scholarships. They hoped to make $50,000 in their first year for college scholarships. To do this successfully, the students needed good study skills. They needed to stay focused and on task, to plan ahead, to do careful research and to be organized. One student studied books about how to grow food without chemicals and fertilizers. She improved her school grades at the same time. Other students learned how to plan production of a salad dressing and create advertising. Another student helped design the logo for the salad dressing and realized he wanted to be a graphic designer. With the help of local business people, the students ran a successful, organized business. The students had to attend weekly business meetings. They earned points towards money for college for the hours they worked and for getting good grades. They lost points if they missed meetings or let their grades down. When these students first started working in their garden, they didn't know that all their hard work would lead to owning a business, feeding people in need, or earning money for college. They just wanted to grow vegetables and worked hard at it. The group grew as other students got interested and joined. Over the years, their business did well. One of their main products was a salad dressing called Straight Out the Garden. It was sold all over America. The labels on their products sum it all up. The label shows a white hand reaching toward a black hand with the following words: Create jobs for youth. Prove that businesses can be environmentally friendly, socially responsible, and profitable. Show that young adults can accomplish. Use this expertise to prepare for the future. One of the student owners is quoted as saying, "What makes us hip is that we want to make a difference." And they did. And that was the story of how scholars made a difference. So I want to recap this with you all because there are some key points that I want you to take away from this story from this message, especially because it's going to be important for our exit ticket for this lesson. The first thing is the scholars saw that their community had a need. You all may not be familiar with the riots of 1992, but they were dire. There was looting. So, looting is when you go into stores and you kind of just break things up and you steal things. So, because there was so much looting and there was so much crime and so much violence during that time, people weren't able to get the things that they needed. So, the scholars at the school saw this and they wanted to make a difference. And that was kind of what started this whole thing for them. And if you remember from the story, the first year that they did it, or the first time that they had a harvest, they gave it away to people, right? So the recognize that their community had a need was one of the biggest things for them to make this thing grow. And then secondly, they wanted to fill the need. I think that's important, right? You can notice a need, but if you have no desire to fill that need for your community or for any reason, then it'll be null and void. It won't amount to anything. Another thing I want to make sure that you guys are taking away from this is that they planned and worked together. They had something that they knew they wanted to do, so they worked on it as a unit to get it done because it was a big task, right? They needed their science teacher to help them because this was very much science. Growing things is a part of science. It's earth science, right? So they needed to figure out how all these things work together. So they took time to plan, but they also did it by working together. Another thing I want to point out and make sure that you guys took from this is that they received help. When you are doing something good and something righteous, people will stand behind you. An entire community will stand behind you, especially if what you're doing is supposed to be helping that community. And what these scholars were doing was something that was helping their own community, but it was also helping them, right? They would earn points and they were collecting money so they could have scholarships to go to college. And they knew this, but it wasn't the thing that started them on this path, right? They had an idea and they built on that idea. Which brings me to the last thing I want to make sure you guys take away from this. They had a goal they were working towards that helped the community and themselves, right? So it started as something that they just wanted to do for their community, but it was also something that would help them because they were a part of that community. But they realized, by receiving the help that they did, by having people backing them, by having people support them because they believed in what they were doing, they realized that they could take it further and they worked together to take it further. And the flip side of that is that while they took it further, if they took it further, it would still be helping their community in a great way. I thought this was a beautiful story, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys took things from it. I want to move on into our exit ticket because it'll tie everything together. So, for our exit ticket for this lesson, I want you to come up with an idea that could help your community through education, like the scholars from Food from the Hood. So, the first thing you would have to do is find a need, right? Find a need in your community and figure out how you could use your education, how you could use your study skills, how you could use things that you've already learned to help fill that need, help to make sure that it's not a need anymore. I know you guys will come up with some really great things. I am super, super excited to hear about it. And you're going to post your responses in the assignment with the same title as this video. So, Lesson 19, Planning Ahead, a project to improve our school. I look forward to hearing your responses.